Well, hello, hello, hello. We are at a different time at this afternoon. Usually I'm on around how many? A couple more hours, 3 more hours later. But I needed to take care of a couple of commitments this evening, so I'm here with you a little earlier. So for those of you who I normally don't get to see and say hello to in person, let me just say welcome. If you are watching me live, then feel free to go ahead and put in hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, put in hashtag replay. If you are someone who has followed me for some time, feel free to go ahead and put in hashtag OG. And for those of you who are new, put hashtag newbie. I'm Tanya Smith, and this is the Stream Like a Boss TV show. And what we love to do is to help you, if you are a service provider, a woman who is a coach, a consultant, a course creator, and you are ready to embrace your face and use more video to serve more people, to stand out online and sell more of your services, then this is the place to be. What I want to talk about tonight, or this afternoon, since we're going early, I want to talk a little bit about how to overcome, first of all, how to recognize and to identify common mistakes that you might be making as a new person to live streaming. So a lot of folks that I actually work with and that I speak to in my live stream each and every week are just getting started. And I want to give you some tips so that hopefully you don't end up having to go through and suffer through some of the challenges and mistakes that I made just starting out with streaming. Now, I have come to really, really enjoy this space. I absolutely love to be able to be here with you and to stream each and every week. But I didn't start out that way. I absolutely started with some fear and some confidence issues. Not only that, you when you jump into something, it's sort of like, okay, well, I'm just going to figure my way through this. And that was how it was for me. I didn't plan this out. I didn't have a major launch and all of the things that you sometimes hear people say they're going to do, because I know me. I know me, and I knew that if I went through the trouble of waiting until everything was perfect and all the lights were green, I would never pull out of the garage. So if that's you and you're someone who likes to jump in feet first too, then you and I can relate. In fact, if you are that person who likes to jump in, go ahead and put a 1 in the comments in the chat. I'm looking for you because I am here live with you. And again, we are here a little bit earlier, but just so you know, in case you want to like, follow, and subscribe, we're usually here every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. But I had to make some adjustments tonight, so I'm on right now. And those who normally come 3 hours later, you'll be seeing this as a replay. So here's what I'm going to also do. Let me make sure I pop up really quickly here. My main website is at getnoticedwithvideo.com. That's where I spend the majority of my time, in addition to streamlikeaboss.tv. So on this page, I will tell you this is where you can find out more information about our various channels. And you'll also learn about our special community. We have an amazing community called Stream Bosses Academy. So if you've got questions on that, feel free to pop them in the chat. But otherwise, I will respond to you if you send me a DM or if you have any questions whatsoever, okay? Let's talk about the topic, because I want to make sure that I cover this. And before I do that, I know a lot of folks that watch, and I see a couple of you there that are with me live. So hello, say hi and let me know where you're from. And if you're a hashtag OG or a hashtag newbie, go ahead and put that in the comments there. I know that some of you like to hear what I'm using to broadcast. So I will go ahead and tell you that right now I am actually using Melon. I'm using the Melon app by Streamlabs, and I am broadcasting into multiple channels at this time. So not just one, but into several different channels. And I am using my Sony DSLR webcam, in case you're like, wow, that's really clear. And there are other things that I could share with you, and I usually like to talk about in some of my other videos. But tonight we're going to focus on common mistakes. I see Marcia there. Thank you so much. It's good to see you, lady. Awesome sauce. Okay, and I know I didn't give people enough time to let you know that I'm going to be on early, but we're going to go ahead and make this happen, and I'll get you the information that I love to share each and every week. I didn't want to shortchange you for that. So let's talk. And this is real talk. I'm going to share with you a couple of common mistakes that I see people making. This is part of our Simply Start Streaming series. Simply Start Streaming, I started in the beginning of March talking about simple ways to really just go live, right? Again, not so much with like a full-blown strategy and plan with all the systems and things in place, but at the same time, I do want to make sure that you have some intention and purpose behind the way in which you go live. So there are three things, and I could probably go into a few more too if we have time, but there are three common mistakes that I typically tend to see when it comes to doing live streams, especially when you're just starting out. And I want to equip you in this way by sharing with you what the mistake is. I want to try to give you a little bit of I don't know, an analogy or a story so that you really understand it. And then I want to give you some things that you can do to combat it, like to move it out of the way just in case it's one of those roadblocks that's making you stumble when it comes to streaming. So the first one is being too random. Yes, yes, yes. I love what it do. First of all, I love the name. Just know that. What it do, DG on YouTube. It's good to see you. So yes, let's chat about this. The first thing is being so random. I don't know if y'all remember, there was a TV show way back. I say way back, probably not that far back, but it was called So Random. And when you think about being random, in fact, here, this is what I'm going to do because I want to make sure that I'm keeping this real and that I'm also giving you a way to remember this. Okay. So, mistake number one, I'm going to type it in because I didn't do it beforehand. I've been jumping from one thing to the next today. Being too random, that is number one. Okay. That's mistake number one. We'll pop it like right over here. How about that? The reason why this is something to watch for is, and I've been in conversations here recently with other video marketers, so we've had a lot of chatting back and forth on this thing. The issue tends to be not so much that you can't be a multi-passionate, multi-variant, multi-talented, because I hear that terminology a lot and I get it. I know there are so many of you, especially us women coaches, consultants, and course creators out there that have gifts beyond belief. Like we can tell you, we could talk about cooking over here, and then we can talk about childcare, and then we can talk about art, and we can talk about music, and we can talk about crypto. I mean, we've got all these things and we have them on lock. Like we know what we're talking about. The challenge comes into play when you're delivering video in that you create a scenario where people don't know why they should even watch your video. If you're not giving them a specific reason to come and watch, then it makes it hard for them to decide. And you want them to make a quick decision. You want them to know, hey, I come to watch her channel because she's talking about eating keto. And I am on a keto diet and trying to figure out, or I'm just a beginner trying to figure out what that even means for me and for my health. So I know I can rely on going to Kim's channel to learn more about keto, right? But if Kim is not only talking about keto dieting, but she's also talking about how to go and adopt and foster pets, and then she's also the next day talking about politics, and then she's talking about, if she's all over the place, it's going to be less likely that audience members will be retained, meaning that the same people that came and watched her for the keto episode, they're less likely to come back if she's talking about something totally different the next time she pops up on live. So being so random can be a mistake in that what it does is it creates this whole kind of hop around thing. It's sort of like, okay, let me give you an analogy about Easter, because Easter's coming up for those of you who celebrate. You know how when you are looking for the Easter eggs, you as a child, maybe you're doing this as an adult too, I don't know, not judging. But if you were a child and you too were doing the Easter egg hunts, I remember we had these massive hunts that I used to take my kids to, where there would be hundreds of kids. And they would have all these beautifully colored eggs hidden under trees, under bushes, in the grass, under stones, you name it. And the kids would be running around and they have their baskets and they're ready to pick up these eggs and pop them into the basket. And then when they get in the car or they go over to the picnic blanket or wherever we end up, where they're opening up their eggs to see what's inside. And then what's inside is a candy they don't like. Mom, you know I don't like chocolate. Yeah, my kids don't like chocolate, which is crazy. If you don't like chocolate, I want you to just put your note. Say I don't like chocolate either, because I want to see how many people in the world don't like chocolate. But my kids do not eat chocolate. I love it. So they would always just hand it off to me. They're like, no, this is not me. This is not me. So they'd have a whole pile of chocolate filled eggs. But then the most disappointing egg was the one that had nothing in it, or one where there's supposed to be candy and it was just an empty wrapper. So when you think about being too random, when you just jump on a live stream video and you're just delivering whatever pops up in your head, or it has no theme, there's no through line, as they call it, it's like giving somebody an empty egg, right? Or feeding them chocolate when they hate chocolate. They're not going to eat it, and they're not going to come back and get any more eggs from you or video content from you. So being too random can be one of those situations that can really cost you. And Marie, my husband isn't good for me. I say the same thing, right? I am somebody who loves me some chocolate, but the rest of my family members could care less. I say more for me, but they don't care. Yes, Miss Epic Shay in the house. It's wonderful to see you, lady. I love it. So look, I want to share this not to say don't be multi-passionate and don't be gifted, the gifted, amazing, powerful person that you are. I don't want to say that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is give people, your audience members, the ones you most would prefer to work with, the ones that you want to show up. Like I'm seeing so many amazing women that I absolutely love connected to that are in the feed right now. I love when you all come. I love when we get to chat back and forth on live stream and on camera. I love it. But I want you to think about the experience that you're creating for the person on the other side when you're so random and you haven't decided on a theme or a through line or something that they know they want to show up for. When you haven't prepared and you're unintentional and you just are kind of like chatting with people and there's no content that's relevant and there's nothing that's really going to be transformational and it's not going to help someone who is watching your content to be able to do something differently, to be able to feel more empowered, even to be entertained. If it's not doing any of those things, then why? Why do it? So I think that mistake number one, if I really had to kind of sum it up about being too random, that's mistake number one. It is because you need to have something that draws people back to you. There needs to be a reason. You got to give people a reason to come and to consume your content. And this is not just with video, it's with any type of media or content that you're putting out into the universe. Like, what is it about? What is your gift? What do people know they need to come to you for? So, common mistake number one, that's it. I love the interaction, so keep it coming. If you've got questions, don't hesitate to pop those in here too. Let's talk about mistake number two. I want to drive this one home. And y'all, it kind of fits with the one I just talked about, but it's slightly different. So I'm going to type it in here too. Let me go ahead and make sure I type in a new one. And I know I didn't type these in advance, but that's okay. Number two is not being consistent. Now, when I talk about not being consistent, it is, let me tell you a common thing that I have had people say when they first decide they want to work with me and they're like, oh my goodness, I've seen you out there, you're doing live streams and I want to have my own show. And I'm like, okay, great, let's take a look at what you've been putting out into the world, and let's look at how we need to fill in any gaps. What's the frequency and the timing of when you're currently doing video, etc. Right? I ask these questions, and sometimes people are starting from scratch and from nothing, and then other times they've had some videos out there. So one of the things, especially when I first started doing this type of work in video coaching, one of the things that I loved to get, because it was so common, I could almost predict when somebody was going to say it, is they would say, how did you get to over 10,000 followers on Twitter? I want to be able to do that. Can you help me do that in 30 days? I'm not going to promise that. You know why? Because the last time you tweeted was in 2012 and it is now 2022. so, so, here's the thing. When you're not being consistent, if people don't know when to see you show up, again, this ties into number one. It's about building credibility and building this state of acknowledgement that you are reliable, that the people who are watching you can rely on you to be on when you say you're going to be on, and they can rely on you to always come back with something that's going to be relevant for them. So when you're inconsistent and you're only on camera today, and then you skip a few weeks here and there, and maybe you show up and you pop up in somebody's feed, I don't know, 6 weeks from now, that's inconsistent, and it's not going to get you the traction that you want. It's about really kind of coming up with a plan. It's about coming up with a plan of action as it relates to your video. Like, how frequently do you want to get on camera? I'm not here to tell you that you need to be on every day, because I will not be on every day. My community knows this. The ladies at Stream Like a Boss community at Stream Boss Academy, they know. I don't preach that. I don't talk about that. I don't say get on daily. Although that can certainly help you build a habit, and I know a lot of people build challenges around daily habits. For me, realistically, as a mom, as a wife, as a business owner, as a corporate analyst, all these things, all these hats that we wear, I have to make decisions about what makes the best sense realistically. So your consistency is the perfect marriage of two things. The perfect marriage of two things. Let me see if I can actually draw this on screen. I'm going to try it. Consistency is the perfect marriage of, and I'm going to switch cameras real quick here so that you can see me draw this, okay? I think. If it doesn't work and I get booted, just know, my fault. Okay, here we go. So consistency is right here. Okay, it's in the middle, and it comes when you have this realistic perspective of your calendar. So your realistic calendar, right? And it's also about you having a sense of when your clients, when your potential audience will show up. That's going to be the perfect system for you. You're going to have to do a little research. So both of these things come together. If I were really drawing this again, I'd probably say it would be like this. And this is consistency right here. Okay. So when you think about that, it is the marriage of those two things. It is a realistic calendar. It's about your schedule and how can you do this, and what's your energy level? Are you high energy or low energy in the mornings? Would you rather do it late at night? Do you need to do it in the afternoon like I'm having to do it because I've got mama duties? What's realistic for you? And then when is your audience most likely to show up? Now, if you're brand new and you're just starting out and you don't have an audience yet, you may not even know the answer to number two, and that's okay. The goal is for you to experiment with different times where you know in your heart and in your calendar you can make it fit, and see when people are starting to show up. The other thing you can do is to ask your potential audience members, people that you know you've invited, people who are your ideal clients that you would love to work with. Ask them if you're in a forum or communities, or you've started to create and nurture a group. Ask them, when would be the best timing for you? But don't just give them an open book. Here's the big mistake for newbies, okay? When I was brand new, I started out thinking that I needed to be everything for everybody. I thought that, you know what, I just have to cater to what everybody else's needs are, and then I burn out really quickly. And I don't want you to feel that sense of burnout. So the goal is you need to think about what makes sense for you. You do need to be a little selfish, and you need to start there first. And then start researching, okay, let me give you all my community and people that I know I want to work with at some point. Let me give you all 2 times that I know I'll be awake and lively and I can give you my best. Let me give you 2 times in 2 days of the week when I know that I can fit this into my schedule, and get your feedback on which one fits the best. Not let me open up my calendar and everybody just give me a date and a time, because that is not real. Does this make sense? If this makes sense to you, if you're feeling this and you're like, hallelujah for a realistic calendar, I can start from where I am and with my own situation, I want you to put a fire emoji in the chat. And David, it is good to see you, sir. Wonderful that you're watching. Thank you. Yes, because it starts with you. It has to start with you and your realistic calendar. Now, the other thing I want to share about this whole idea of not being consistent is you will find that I don't know if any of you bake. I am horrible at baking. I don't know why I'm on a food kick today. Maybe I'm hungry. Um, I am horrible at baking. And if I made a cookie today that didn't burn, hallelujah. If I paid attention and I actually had a chocolate chip cookie or some other fancy, maybe it's not even so fancy, cookie that I did not mess up, I'm not going to walk in here tomorrow and tell you and start plastering on my screen that I am a baker and I should own a bakery. I'm just not. Oh my goodness. Well, you know what it do? You need to come to my kitchen and show me step by step, or do it on video so I can come and see. I need some easy ways to bake. I know, and I can't find the time either. That's the other thing. But yes, I'm seeing some fire emojis in here. So you're feeling this too. Hallelujah on the realistic. The thing is, you get more consistent, you get better and more competent with video when you are consistent and you're practicing. Everything is about the frequency. The more you do it, the better you get. If I bake that cookie tonight and I screw it up and I try again tomorrow and I try again the day after that, and then I lead up to doing half a dozen, and then I got a dozen in the pan by next week or 2 weeks from now, I'm on fire. And if people are giving me kudos and saying, yeah, mom, that was awesome, you really should open a bakery. Well, by goodness, maybe I should open a bakery. I probably shouldn't. But I'm saying it's the practice and the repetitiveness of me doing it. So the consistency is not only about the idea that you're building up this trust bank, right, with your audience members. It's also about building your competence and helping you to be more effective as a communicator on video. Trust, I did not start out, and Marie can tell you, several people on this call that I'm looking at right now, you can tell, you know, that there was a difference in the way that I delivered videos years ago as compared to now. I am much more confident. I am much more clear. I am much more, the clarity, that's really big, because I've been doing it so frequently and I have this schedule and I know what I want to talk about and I have my flow. Because of those things, I am more competent, and that shows up on camera, and therefore I'm building the trust bank. And so the folks that are watching, you come back because you know what to expect the next time. That's what I'm trying to help you to get for your own video and your own stream success. So we talked about number 1 and number 2. Let me put those back up. Mistake number 1 was being too random. Mistake number 2 was not being consistent. So now I want to share something with you about mistake number 3, and I'm going to write this down and I'm going to show you what I mean when I say this. The stream is not, you may predict what I'm about to say. The stream is not the strategy. The stream is not the strategy, but the mistake is that we often think that the stream itself, the fact that we're doing video, when we do video, we think the video itself is the strategy. And what I mean by this is when you think about folks who have made a decision, and kudos to you for making the decision to do video. And even more kudos to you for making a decision that you want to do more live video, like what we're doing right now. I love the lives for so many reasons. I've talked about this in a number of different videos, but I love live streaming because I can be authentic and real. I don't have to worry about perfectionism, even though I'm still one of those recovering perfection addicts, always striving for it and never quite reaching it. I don't have to worry about, there's a lot of things, production cost and all of that, because whatever I deliver is what I deliver. It's what you see is what you get. When we have our chats and our conversations in the chat right here, it is what it is. I love it and I can react on the fly. And I've learned how to manage some of the trolls and the abusive stuff that does sometimes come with that, right? So we could talk about that in another video too. But I'm saying you can make the mistake just jumping in and getting this high off of the things that I just mentioned of thinking that the stream is the strategy. And I want to talk a little bit more about that. So here's the thing. When I first started doing videos, as I mentioned, I kind of decided I hate that I'm not getting any leverage on my social media. I hate that it seems like crickets every time I put all this work and effort into blogging and content sharing and all these things, and nobody's coming to anything and nobody even sees my stuff because Facebook, Twitter, everybody stopped showing my content. And I'm like, but it's good content. And you're probably thinking that too, but it's so good. I'm doing all this work. I've hired all these people to help me create all these amazing things. And my website, I paid $5,000 for. And nobody even comes to see it. We're thinking all those things. And so I was thinking all those things a couple of years ago. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to give the social media beast what it says it wants. I'm going to feed the beast. I'm going to give you live video because you said, if I do more live stream video, then you will show me in the feeds. And I wanted to test it, but I knew that I couldn't just test it once. I knew, so those mistake number 1 and number 2, I knew that there needed to be a theme or a through line. So I got consistent and I said, okay, I'm going to do this once every week. Once or twice a week is when I started. I was like, twice a week. That's crazy. And when I did this, at first, I was just doing video. And I will tell you something, all these things I'm sharing with you in terms of mistakes, you can make those mistakes and you can learn from them. And then you can be right back in the same position. And I found myself doing that here recently, actually, this year. So I can tell you transparently that we may learn, and we may, even as tenured video marketers, we may learn from our mistakes and still go back and fall into the same traps. Give yourself some grace. The thing about falling into a trap is the next time you see the trap and you know you're in it, you really know you're in it. And it's a little easier to get your way out because you found a way out before. So here's what happened. I started doing a bunch of videos just to do videos because I thought the stream was the strategy. When I say strategy, what I'm talking about is this. I want you to think about your business, and I want you to think about, what is the goal of my business? The goal of your business should be to make a profit. Otherwise, it's not a business. It is a hobby. Okay? You can agree with me. Just shake your head. Just nod your head yes. The goal of your business is to make income. It is to generate an income. It is to generate revenue. It's not to fall into debt. It's not to go and entertain people because you just want to be liked. It's not to just become famous. It is your business is there to help you make a profit. So when you realize that, then you also have to realize that you can't just get on video and hope and pray that somebody might like you enough to decide they want to hire you. What you have to think about is, what is my strategy? Because the stream is not the strategy. Let me pop that up there one more time. Stream is not the strategy. The strategy is, who do I want to market to? What do I want to market to them? Like, what do I want to offer to them? What do I want to charge? How am I going to make myself available to them? How am I going to let them know I'm available? What spaces will I be playing in terms of delivering the services that I say I'm going to offer? How am I going to distribute? All of these questions are the strategy. And I think that sometimes what happens first is we think about the things that are visible and that are low hanging fruit. We think about, okay, I'm just going to get on camera and I'm going to start talking, and then people will come and they will show up and they will become my clients. And that's not reality. The reality is, you need to give people an action. You need to give them something to go to. They may sign up to get on your email list, or maybe not. They may sign up to get on your list, and then because of your email list and where you're nurturing them and you're leading them through a sequence of different letters and communications, you're guiding them to become a part of your community, which is a paid community. Or maybe you're guiding them to a workshop, which is a paid workshop. Or maybe you're guiding them into a free discovery call where they get to learn more about you and they get to sign up for a VIP day with you. These are things that are in the background of you doing the video. It's not just you do the video and then you walk away and hope that somebody's going to reach out to you. Because here's what's happened to a real person who used to be in my space. What would happen is, she was so excited about doing video. She just got on camera and she would do these videos and she'd be talking about her topic. I'm not going to share what the topic was. She'd be talking about her topic. And then she went out and she invested in having a website put up. Do you know, after 6 months of her being on video and having this website up, she never had one client, not one. And every time I would talk to her, I would ask her, so what is the strategy? She'd say, well, I'm getting on camera and I'm doing it every week and I'm being consistent. I'm doing all the things you said. And I'm like, okay, but something's missing. Okay, talk to me about your offer. What are you offering? And she would get quiet because she had no offer. There was no set of packages that people could choose from. There was no lead in. There was no lead magnet for people to go and download so that they knew more about X service, or they knew how to contact her in order to set up a call. The videos were not driving the person or the persons who were watching anywhere to anything that was specific, other than just kind of a billboard. Hey, I'm here, on her website. So you have to think about your strategy. And I don't want you to miss that point, that the stream itself is not the strategy. That is a huge mistake that many of us make. I made it, and then I fixed it, and then I made it again. And now I'm working on correcting it again. So don't feel bad if you messed up. Don't feel bad if you fell into the trap. Okay? If you fell into the trap and now you're ready to get out of the trap, I want you to put a heart emoji. If you understand that, look, yeah, forgive my heart, because I just fell in love with the idea of doing a video, but I forgot about the other things that I need to do in order to make it a part of my strategy. That is the key. Video is part of the strategy. It's not the strategy. Social media is part of the strategy. It's not the strategy. The blogs that you're writing, part of the strategy. They're not the strategy. Who do you want to sell to? Who do you want to work with the most? How much do you want to charge them? How are you going to convert that into sustainable income so that you can support yourself and your family and your loved ones, the people that are around you? All of these things, they matter, and you have to think them through. And you may need to work with a business coach to do that. I don't know. Maybe you're working inside of a group. Maybe you're working with a strategist. Maybe you need to typically get outside of your own head. And that's something I had to remind myself about, is it's easy to get caught in our own head and to start falling in love with our videos and forget about the other things. The reason why the videos are relevant is because they're supporting the larger strategy. They're supporting the outcome that you say you want to get from the business. Your business is here to make a profit. So I want you to type in the comments if you're still here, because we're getting ready to wrap. My business is here to help me make a profit. Or just put, my business is for profit. Now, some of you might be in a nonprofit situation. I don't know. And if that's the case, okay. But most of the people that I talk to and I work with, there is a cause or a strategy. There's a reason why you're doing your business. And typically it's because you do want to generate a sustainable income and revenue. And if that is the case, I just want you to type it in and remind yourself. My business is for profit. Okay, so yes, my business is here to help me make a profit. Yes, yes, yes. If you forget, you come back and you watch this video to remind yourself. I don't want you to forget that. It's easy to forget it and to fall into the trap of likes and loves and hearts, because people love to like things. They'll do the like in a heartbeat. They'll follow you and everything. But if you're not generating an income from your business, then I don't know. I don't know why you do it. You have to make that decision for yourself. For me, I want to support, I don't just want to support my family and myself, but I also want to be able to do bigger things and to be able to support more people and serve more people, to help you to overcome confidence issues, to get on camera and to reach. I want to create ripples, a ripple effect where I'm impacting and serving so that others who are listening to me and hearing me and watching me can now take that message and do something with it so that they begin to impact others. And we just create this huge worldwide wave of positivity, right? And transformation. Yes. Okay, look, Marie just put it bluntly. We can't help people if we can't pay our bills. That's real talk. That's real talk. If you are running a business and you're doing a bunch of videos and people like it and they love it and they love you on TikTok and they love you on Reels and they love you on all these, that's great. But what is it leading them to? What are you leading them to? What is the strategy? So I'm going to recap real quick and then we're going to go ahead and wrap. I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you showing up, especially because we're 3 hours early. But I do need to go support my youngest. She is running again tonight. She's doing better with hurdles. Let me tell you, this is how practice helps, right? The more frequently and the more consistently you do video, you're going to see, just like she's seeing. She said, Mom, I've been listening to you and this is what I think I'm seeing. When she first started with hurdles, this is her first year running track. She first started, she didn't win anything. The next time she won, she got 3rd place in hurdles. The last time she got 2nd place in hurdles. So we're going to see what happens tonight. Maybe it won't be 1st place, but she's doing better every time because she's learning and she's growing and she's consistent and she's doing this every week. So I want you to kind of think about how that could affect you in your business when you're not so random and you really got some intention behind your content. Think about what it means for your business when you show up. When you show up, the more you show up, the more your audience will show up. Keep that in mind. And then number 3, just remember that the stream is not the strategy. Don't make the mistake of thinking that it is. All right. I so enjoyed getting a chance to take time to spend with you each and every Thursday. Yes, progress, practice, and progress. Those run hand in hand, I believe. I do. I hope that you all have an amazing rest of the week. For those of you who are part of my Stream Bosses Academy, this weekend is our Creator Day, one of my favorite times. So don't forget to RSVP under the Events tab in our space. If you are interested and you don't know what I'm talking about when I say Stream Bosses Academy, I want you to definitely be invited to like, follow, and subscribe and show up over at streamlikeaboss.tv. That's not centered. I'll fix that later. Streamlikeaboss.tv. Come and check us out and get more information. It shows up beautifully on your mobile phone to take you to whatever channel you prefer to connect. And I am more than happy to welcome you into my spaces, both free and paid. So just know that I am honored that I got a chance to spend some time with you this evening. I hope that you take everything I shared to heart, and that you, if you haven't been watching the Simply Start streaming series, go back and watch a few of those on our channels. Okay? All right. Have an amazing evening, and I will see you on next week. Next Thursday will be on the right time, I think. But if not, I'll make sure to communicate. Take care, everybody.